thoughts. So based on actions and emotion lines. I'd like to tap more into the mind itself because it's extremely important to understand that, how to use it. Because you're going to find yourself always in a situation, which is mind sitting in the system, coming into you, sending your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. Action is processing reaction to response. So you have to understand how to time your systems and settings, know exactly where your thoughts are going, where your thoughts are heading, and where are they leaving. Going, heading, leaving. Grounding, homes, and levels, and something on the travel. And codification is based on how you see things, attractions. One thing you do have to identify is how your mind alterate everything. Your directions, your networkings, your intelligence, mind of alteration, travel. Travel. How you process anything in platform and position. So portals, calculation. Get your true understanding of how to see it. Because thoughts goes on seconds. Okay. You see the thing is actions are attended to the system of its emotion. You got thoughts equals actions. Actions equal emotions. Emotions is how you identify emotions. Existing, motivating, operations, travels, intelligence. Operating the system. Networking your system systematically, clients, what do you want to do with your thoughts? Why are you thinking? What's going on? Why am I processing? What's happening here? What's happening there? What happens next? Thoughts are everything, because they precede everything through your initial points, your percentage of your capacity, what's correlated to settings, to rounds, you're adjusting. You're aiming your lines to some intelligent locations into your mind operation system. So it's true understanding. But processing that is thoughts, action, emotions going in the same direction, traveling in the same direction. So they go together. See? And they formulate the same, originating something as a travel. Thoughts, action, emotion is one setting, one center. Now once you get this mind's position expanding, the process going back, some locations. Across that position is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, or 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, or 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, or 5, 5, 5, 5, and so on and so on. So your thoughts have already gone past the setting of your 7 divisions, which are your chakra system. Which process your pyramid activation grounds, and its operation setting of travel. So this helps you to really get into thoughts are just, it all identifies how you see things, or how you want to see things. How you see the day, how you see the seconds of the day, the minutes and the hours of the day. Because all it does is create thoughts, and it goes to the actions. Actions are reactions to its response, and then it goes to its emotions. Right? Thoughts, action, emotion equals everything in equations. So actions and emotions go in the same direction. You have to, because they formulate and simulate, come together in one. See if you have thoughts going in one direction. You see your thoughts going here, actions are going here, and emotions are going here. Okay? So imagine on the second where you are in settings, processing through the thoughts, the inventory to its system, modify the centers, the network, and neurolinks and neuropathological system. Your brain capacity never stops running. Thoughts never stop running. Actions are always in action. Action to response to response to all settings. The processing that. What are the thoughts? What are the actions? What are the emotions doing for you? Are they helping you? Are they identifying you? Are you identifying yourself? Are you identifying where you are? Identifying what's going on? Do I understand this? Do I understand that? That's what thoughts are. Thoughts are always. Thoughts make you think. And that's why I like the movie Eat. Very low. Because she's trying to find the answers. Right? She's trying to find the answers with your system. Right? And it's interesting that guy says basically stop thinking. You're trying too much. Right? You just gotta let yourself go. How do I do that? I'm trying. Well, that's it, stop trying. Listening to your system is being the mind. Mind is just, it equals everything to alteration, how you process everything, guys. The way you do things in life, the way you see things in life, the way you connect, the way you formulate and simulate yourselves, lots of travel, lots of communication. So, what you're going to eat. If you're not, you're decisive. Okay, I'll eat this later. No, I'll have this now. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Back and forth, right? Back and forth isn't back and forth. Back is always in the system, which is always in the center operation. So you just, if your thoughts are in the center, actions are in the center, and emotions are in the center, you're in three fail-safes, grounds, powers, and actors. So you're totally in balance of communication. But it's like I said, what do you want to do with your thought? You have to codify it. Okay? Thoughts make you think. Thoughts are thinking, an apparatus, right? But you have to break everything down. Take time out. Break it all down. What is T? What is H? What is O? What is U? What is G? What is H? What is TS? So what does T stand for? What does H stand for? Okay? O, U, G, H, T, S. Same travel. Right? So that's bedding the system of runs a travel communication just through your thoughts. Okay? So once you understand the thought equals an action. Now that action is a response or a response or a reaction to an action itself. So once you have that in sync, it's just balancing everything in sentence. Your thoughts, action, emotions are one, right? The center operation location is fail-safe at 0 of operation. But it's how you have your mind. What do you want to do with your mind? Where do you want to go? People look at things, but they look at how they're looking at it. And, I'm looking at something, but I don't need to identify what it is. Just process the way that it isn't. There's no right or wrong or anything, it's just a perspective. So if you see a thought through perspective, you see an action through perspective, you see emotion through perspective, you're good to go. That's it. There's no difference between a thought. Thought makes you think. Because you're asking yourself, did I do this before? Am I doing this now? Am I going to go here? Am I going to go there? Should I do this later? Or what? Thoughts. But what you're not collaborating is the brain of capacity. Your time of capacity, your flex capacity, and your body capacity. Okay? All has to be in the center of the set position of operations. So you have your thoughts, action, emotions, they're going to 3 ways in one. Like this. 3 ways in one. Right? It doesn't matter how you look at it. Right? It's going in that direction. Going with the connection flow. right? See the constant flow, you know, and then it comes like this, and it goes into its own expansion, and expanding. So don't think of thoughts, action, motions as separation. Don't think of the past, present, future of separation, because you have to connect with your thoughts again. Thoughts in the past, thoughts in the present, thoughts in the future. Right? Future's always existing. Okay? Thoughts are in time or space. Okay? And your thoughts in the past are in space of time. Space-time equals time-space, and position lines of space ongoing. Okay, OG. Okay? So that's basically how you process everything, your thoughts. And the actions are just basically, how do you want the body? Was it responding? Was it reacting? Was there a reaction to its system? So it helps you identify where your thoughts are going, where your actions are processing, and where your emotions are going to be in your body. So that's the body capacitor. Okay, body capacitor. Cross position of thoughts, emotions in setting, center operation. Okay, so this helps you to start really identifying how to have a constant, continuous flow with your levels. You know, you're leveling your thoughts, you're slowing down your thoughts, you're modifying your actions and emotions, and syncing them into 3 wires in one, a travel, right? So it doesn't matter how you look at it, it's a constant, continuous flow in the same direction. And that's where it comes in settings of operation, same direction, right? And then once they're in the positions after 7, you're infinity. So infinity goes this way, right? They go wherever they want, they stay in sync with each other, right? Thought is its own system, action is its own settings, and emotion is its own factor. Okay, so that's what it is. That's the expansion of expanding. Okay. So it's a little bit tricky, you know, because you're seeing things. Have I made up my mind? No, I haven't made my mind yet. So you're still thinking, still processing. Right? The actions are based on the body when it comes in to respond and react. Action is a reaction to a response. So you have to treat it how to readjust. How fast are your thoughts going per setting, per second, per minute? Because your thoughts ride on seconds, minutes, hours in the same time. So your actions, so your emotions. So that's a process of 3, 3, 3, 3, 6, 9, right? 3 equals 6, 6 equals 9, and 3 equals 9 is 12. So you get 6, 9, 12. Okay? And that process, and then you have to process lines of 6, you have to process lines of 9. And once you understand that, you put 6, 9 together of operation. And getting into that positions, you come to your flux, you process your settings, you come into your capabilities, your performance, your efficacies, your polarities, and you start to process all levels. Okay, what yin and yang is. Is that position of operation. 6 and 9. Okay, going in the same direction. Okay, going in the same direction, expanding out. Okay, it doesn't need to expand out because you're already in the center of operation. So you just understand the bridging on both sides, which is the same supposition of operation itself, which is time of clocking. So think of everything moving constantly in a constant, continuous flow of patterns. When you're recognizing the pattern, you're recognizing the thoughts, you're recognizing the actions, you're recognizing the emotions, and expanding out is what you want to get in positions of. This helps you to identify your system of travel. So, and then you get your balance, and then you get your flywheel, and then you get your equilibrium, and you process this, and you process this. You know, and you just draw. You know what you're drawing because you already drew it. You know, it helps you identify your center of operation as you travel. So what you have intact with your controlling your thoughts, because it's all capacity. Brain capacity is that's the volume exactly where you want to be, because the brain is never in the same position. It's always at different frequencies. Your thoughts prevail at different frequencies. Your actions reflect everything that's in lines to your emotional system. And you know what's interesting too, your thoughts in capacity, your actions in capacity, okay, and your body capacitor has to be in the same time frame, which is always in the center, right? Because you're slowing down your space, you're slowing down your polarities, you're slowing down your flux capacitor, it's that position of operation. So I just wanted you guys to get a basic understanding of what thoughts are, what they do, what actions do, and how it affects your body through your capacitors. Time capacitor, flux capacitor, and shows you exactly how to modify your time. What you're doing is slowing down your space, and you're not thinking, you're just processing what you're looking at. All right? In that position. What am I looking at? Do I understand what it is? Do I understand what's going on? Do I understand this? Do I understand that? So it's how you process your thinking and seeing things. But it's all connected to your senses and your sensories, right? So thoughts equals 5 senses and sensories. But you have infinity of sensories, but we'll stay with the 5, right? Connecting to your senses, your hearing, you're seeing, you're feeling, you're touching. It's all about hearing what you're hearing, knowing what you're knowing, doing what you're doing, seeing what you're seeing, feeling what you're feeling, touching. Consciously be aware of this, consciously be aware of that. Controlling your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions through all of your capacity. And then you have to go to the percentage, what's your capacity in some position through your thoughts. Right? In your information bits, as the thoughts are arriving on. 100% time frame. Okay, your information bits are microbits, matter roots. Okay, and microscopic. And to paraphrasing your system, travels at point graphs. See, I just keep, you know, it's not thoughts of thinking, it's just thoughts of knowing. You know, it's just knowing your thoughts. So if you already know your thoughts, how can you be thinking? You're not processing if you don't know already what your thoughts are. It's complicated, guys, because the thing is, you're not identifying yourself. You have to identify your travel and the capacity and the light coding that you're connected to, and the dark codings, you know, put you in your webbing systems. It interconnects your networks in your pathological settings. Your interwebbing, your interlines, interlink, intercommunications. Everything is processed in that position when you come into the quantum interference, quantum entanglements, tangibles, you know, tricky wires, 3 lines, 4 centers, linking your setting. Okay, it looks like it's going in the opposite direction, but it's not. It's going in the same direction. It's just expanding out. And as it keeps expanding out, it becomes more out in space itself. So, but your capacity is so important. It wants to know what you already know. So I know my thoughts, I know my actions, I know my emotions. So that equals everything that comes into is the perspective. Perspective how I see my thoughts, perspective how I see my actions, and perspective how I connect with my emotions. So if you understand what your thoughts are traveling, telewaving, telecommunication, telegraphing, right? Actions are just action to a response to your body. As long as you know it's going to your body. and the connections to the system. Go into the emotional setting, is your body capacitor. Okay, and process your percentage of time frame. And that goes in positions that, remember I started location of 60-40, 80-20, 70-30, and so 60%, 40%. So as long as you're conscious of location, let's say 60% dark and 40% light, okay, is 20 under pi, because it's dark over light. If it's light and dark, it's over pi. Under pi is dark. So it's the opposite of everything. Light and dark is balancing both ways. How you see light, how you see dark. But it has to have its solar sail to connection system. It's got to be light and dark together. Then it goes through its own solar sail. And then it goes through its platforms to travel. Okay? It travels smoothly. So it knows exactly what it's doing through its connection. Right? As it travels. But it's how you modify your settings, your system, of your polarities, and your, let's say, location of center through a teeter-totter. Okay, here's a teeter-totter, right? So somebody's here. Okay, and somebody's here. Okay. So you got to look at that. You got to look at this, right? As it goes back and forth, right? So to center it is to have your mind in the center. Understand the 45 angle, right? It's 45 angle here, simulation, right? But 50% is here, okay? So, and this comes into your time frame, right there, okay? So you got to look at the equilibrium and your polarities and flux, okay? And it's basically understanding how you see the compressors and decompressors, volumes of systems, okay? And past, present, and future, right? So it's amazing how to keep that equilibrium. Okay, so let's say this is 70 dark lighting, 70 dark, okay, and it's at 70,000 units, okay, per square, per mile, per calculus, per pi, okay, in one setting. Okay, so that's capacity. So the capacity itself on thoughts are going 700,000 seconds. 700,000 seconds. That's just on thoughts, not actually emotions. But see, thoughts, action, emotions is one. Thoughts, actions, and emotions are together, like that. T-A-E, they're together, right? They're never separated. Now, if we can process that, you understand it correlates this communication setting, because the thoughts, action, emotions creates a mapping system. So it's much easier to see the travels, so they all work together in supposition of travel, calculations. Converting this way, this way, this way, and this way of travel. Okay? Working with a team, working in one as itself. So as you're processing the thoughts, the actions and emotions, so that's 777, okay, that's that position. So that brackets is 7 here, 7 here, 7 here. Channel operation lines equals all position triangulation box, and triangulation box. Okay, so that's 3. Cross lines of 6, and that's cross lines of 9. Okay, 3, 6, 9. Now, once you have 3, 6, 9, you need a 12 center. Okay, which is outside settings, which is your locations and your solar rings, outside lines of equation. Okay, and then you have a 24 o'clock setting inside of operation itself, with flux. So there's so many ways of looking at that. Because once you guys understand your thoughts, action, emotions, all you have to understand is for them to go in the same direction. And then they go out and expand, right? They just have to process here. They've got to process here in the same direction, here, and then they expand out. Expanding out, guys. Okay, and they do whatever they want to do, you know? Because they're out. They're out at the infinity 8 rotation. Infinity 8. Right? That's why you have 7 chakras. So it's going up to the grounds, up to the triangulation. So that process here through time, okay, which is your hourglass. But an hourglass is the center of its operation itself and travel. So that's what you have to modify, the supposition. Right? So it just gives you a better understanding how this all works in platform. So with the teeter-totter, okay, so it's 70%, and let's say it's at 30%. Okay? 30% gravity. What is this? So, that's 30 over mark. That's 70 over dark, 30 over light. Okay, so that's my position location is 70. Okay, so that's an underride. My center is overdrive, and my position location, it's the opposite of everything, which is the positive of everything, travel. All right, so that's _7 or -7. Okay, negative over 7, negative over 70. Right, so you just have to process light and dark. Okay, the provision to the system off the travel. Okay. But once you identify this, light and dark, it gets much easier. Right? And then they travel together. See? They travel together. It's much easier as they expand out. So they process the 7 in the grounds. Like this. Okay, and then they go this way. They have to create a time frame. Then they have to create a pyramid process. Work about test your rotation region, and then your system in center traveling through a transit. Okay, at platforms, in a set modes of operation. Okay? So that's basically how it works. Bring in light and dark at the same time, because you're not seeing separation of light and dark. It's working together with you, transition. That's the dimension solar cell. What dimension are you in? What capacity are you in? What solar system are you in? What galaxy are you in? What universe are you in? Right? It's all processed, everything you process. It's position, right? It's just recognizing your systems and travel. It helps you identify your system calculations. All the percentage, okay? So, just gives you an understanding how this all works in terms of communication. All right. So I think that's good for now. You guys are starting to process your capacities, understand the light and dark, systems. Just knowing that fact that once you get into your thoughts, everything comes in light and dark right away at travel. So they're traveling this way. Okay. But it's going in the opposite directions. Okay, opposite direction. Right? And your actions are here. Right? So your thoughts can be in a 5th dimension, your actions can be in a 7th dimension. That's where it gets confusing through entanglement. And your emotions could be 9th dimension. You know, it depends on your anxiety and stress and fear. So it's all process of position. But everything has to have a constant continuous force. Getting in position of balancing your 7 chakras is extremely important to your dimensions of solar and dimensional sail. Okay, through the capacity of your flux, your time, and your body capacity. Okay? So there you go. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Adios.